Hey guys, it's Nicholas here from upgradeToLife.com and welcome to this video called Inner Conversations, the causes of the circumstances of your life. So this is a really important topic that Neville Goddard oftentimes during his lectures talked about, and he tried to point it out to his students and people listening to him that the inner conversations are really powerful. And in this videos I want to point out the two main aspects around inner conversations. So what you can learn from them, how to apply them, how to use them to create your desired circumstances in your life. So this is going to be really important. Just a side note before I jump in, if you want to learn more about that, if you want to watch a free masterclass where I basically summarize all of Neville's teachings into a simple little video, then check out the first link in the video description. That is my free masterclass. And the second link, there you will find an application to work with me if that is what you want to do. And with that, let's just jump right into that. So I want to right now explain to you what you can learn from inner conversations, why they are important. And there are, in my opinion, two main things that our inner conversations enable us to do and why they are so powerful. So the first one is that our inner conversations are an indicator on where we stand or on where you dwell within and to which internal state you return. Meaning, if you have constantly inner conversations about a certain topic, that just is an indication to you, that should be an indication to you that this is your internal state. This is what you believe to be true, this is what you constantly assume, and therefore that is the state that you are in internally, right? And if you continuously have those inner conversations, you always go back to this internal state. So if you watch your inner conversations throughout the day, if you start to become more aware, then they are a great indicator again for you to realize where you dwell within, right? What are you believing? What are you speaking with yourself? And the second thing is that the inner conversations are the creative causes for the circumstances of your life, meaning that they have creative power, meaning that they also manifest in the surroundings, in the circumstances of your life. And right now I want to explain those two key things that inner conversations enable us to do and are therefore and are what they do. I want to explain them right now in more detail, okay? So let's start with the indicator, because first of all, your inner conversations are actually automatic throughout the day, meaning they just happen. Right, if you go throughout the day, you just have those inner conversations. You can watch yourself and you will notice this, that you cannot stop speaking with yourself, right? This is the second point. So you can basically not stop talking internally. We all do it. It's we all breathe and we all drink and we all eat. We also, all of us talk to us internally. But most of us, again, are not aware of this. So we're not even aware of those inner conversations, right? So we're not aware of it, and where we dwell within, there we will also dwell outside too. As you know, as within, so without. And your inner conversations, they are not an exception of this kind of law. It's not that they are not important, that they don't mean something. They're really powerful, and we're going to discover this in the second part, right, in just a second, meaning that they are also the creative causes of your circumstances. But again, please realize for the first point that your inner conversations, they are awesome to show you where you dwell within, which states of consciousness you abide in, which internal identities you keep alive, because you talk with yourself, right? Let's say you have bad inner conversations about money and you talk with yourself I'm really bad at earning money. This is difficult. I don't know how to increase my income. I don't know how to, get more clients. And you don't say this out loud, but if those are kind of your internal conversations that you do with yourself, then that's just a state of not having enough money, not being successful with money. And this can be for any other life era as well, right? Or relationships, I don't know if I'm loved, if I'm appreciated, what if I do this and this looks like I'm needy, or all of this stuff, right? I'm sure you get the point, right? I'm sure you get this first point, that they are an indication, right? And they show to which state you return. But as you know, your internal state is always being manifested in your life, in your circumstances. And that brings me to the second point, which is that they are also the creative causes for the circumstances of your life. Because you have to realize and you have to acknowledge and to understand that your inner conversations that is imaginal activity, right? It is not in form of you imagining like imagery, or you like sense something, stuff like that, right? Where you feel something. However, that's like vocal, or that's like auditive, basically imaginal activity, because that is still something that you do within. And it is subjectively real to you. Meaning if you have those inner conversations such as, yeah, like I feel really content with myself. I feel really awesome. I feel really relaxed. I feel really, I don't know, like kind of adored, or people appreciate me. To random examples, I feel really good in regards to money, or I feel really like worthy of myself. That is in that moment subjectively real to you. Or even like if you would say to yourself internally, like you sit in at your office or at your desk right now, and you would be like, yeah, like I'm at the beach right now, or I'm at home right now. Then you are internally basically there. It is subjectively real to you. However, you're still in your current circumstances. So it's like still feeding this internal movement. It like still like fires up this internal state. So this is an important quote: "As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is." Meaning you can on the outside tell someone, hey, I really like you and I wish the best for you. But internally you could wish him like bad stuff and not trust him, or be like, oh yeah, this person will never get success. But then this is your actual internal state, and this is what counts. As a man thinketh in his heart, meaning what you are truly accept and assume to be true within. It doesn't matter what you say on the surface level. Meaning your inner conversations, basically, and what you do within, that is more powerful than what you maybe say on the outside to someone, or the actions you do to show someone something. That is always like the surface level stuff. But what is going to show up in your life repetitively, and what you encounter in your circumstances, is how you think in your heart. And this does not have to do anything with thinking and thoughts, but it means what you're truly conscious of being, what you truly accept and assume to be true. Right? That is what shows up in your life. So the great thing is that inner conversations can shift us into our desired internal state. Meaning if you gain like the conscious control of your inner conversations, and you learn to do them in a way that they are like matching your wish fulfilled, and they're coming from the wish fulfilled state, and they match the wish fulfilled state, then they become creative. So then it's not that they then become creative, because they always are, but then they become, in a positive way, in a constructive way, really, really powerful, and they're not destructive any longer, where you have negative inner conversations that are not in alignment with your desired state, with the desired version of yourself that you want to like embody and be in your life, or your desired goals, right? So this does not mean that you have like 24/7 like change those inner conversations and engage with them and this and that, but it's important to notice them, be aware of them, and if they don't match, then to internally shift into that state, so that they start to flow from that state, and that they like start to match this state. But this is not any hard work. This is not any pressure, or like fighting against your own thoughts and stuff. This is easy if you get what I share with you in this video. Okay, so right now we basically covered the two main things that inner conversations enable us to do. Number one, indicator to where you are currently within, what you believe, what you accept, what you assume, in which internal states you are. And the second thing is like they are causing your circumstances, because they are, as everything else that you do within yourself, imaginative activity, right? They are like putting you into internal states, which are then being reflected back and manifested in your life. And right now I want to share some quotes from Neville with you, and let's look at what he is saying about those internal conversations. So talking to oneself is a habit everyone indulges in. We could no more stop talking to ourselves than we could stop eating and drinking. All that we can do is control the nature and direction of our inner conversations. Most of us are totally unaware of the fact that our inner conversations are the causes of the circumstances of our life. And that is really true, right? So first of all, like I said, it is like a habit, is like a thing that we basically all do, and that is okay, right? There's nothing wrong with the inner conversations, and we can actually not stop them, as we cannot stop eating or drinking because we are like humans. But all we can do, right, all we can basically practice is to control the nature and direction of those inner conversations, right? So that they match our end goal. And that is the most important part, is that most of us are actually unaware of the fact that the inner conversations that we do create our circumstances and that they are responsible for what is showing up. So I challenge you to start to be more aware of what you do within yourself, right? That is when you learn to increase your self-awareness and all of this, that you really notice on what you do within yourself, and then you can clearly see the correlation in regards to what is actually happening in your reality, right? So really, really, really powerful. And if you find yourself carrying on any negative conversation, basically any negative inner conversations, then break it. Even though it gives you pleasure, as it does many people, they find such fun in being critical. And I've noticed this really, really hugely in today's society. Like, there's so many people that watch the news and they criticize this, and then they judge this, they label this, they all the time they do talking and worrying about this, talking negatively about this situation. But this also happens obviously within themselves, and sure, like, their life is not that pleasant, not that enjoyable. So this is definitely something that you have to stop, like, to do this gossip talking and this shit talking. Like, where's this leading to? It's absolutely useless and not recommended, as Neville also says, right? But many people enjoy it because it's so easy to just blame that and talk negative about this and be this kind of in this sheep mentality, but it won't bring you anywhere. So really, really important. Also, Neville said, our inner talking, though unheard by others, is more productive of future conditions than all the audible promises and threats of man. Your ideal is waiting to be incarnated, but unless you yourself offer it human parentage, it is incapable of birth. You must define the person you wish to be, and then assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, in faith that the assumption will find expression through you. Okay, so Neville points out again that the inner talking is not heard by others, right? Only basically you are aware of that, but it is more productive of your conditions in your life than what you tell outside. So you can tell someone outside, yeah, I'm rich, I'm successful, and all of that. But if internally you feel it, you actually are in a state of lack, you are in a state of like financially shakiness and unworthiness and stuff, or same with relationships, right? Same with health, same with friendships, same with family life, then that is what's going to create the conditions, not what you do on the outside, like I said before in this video. And I also like the second part, because Neville's saying that your ideal is waiting to be incarnated. That should be just a reminder for you that your ideal state of being, your ideal state of consciousness, your ideal identity, your desired circumstances, right? This state that comes with all of that does already exist, and it waits for you to be incarnated, to be occupied, to be claimed, to be shifted into. But unless you don't do that, right, unless you don't give it basically human parentage and you shift into that desired internal state, it is incapable of birth, and you will perpetuate the current circumstances. I also talk about that in my free masterclass, first link in the description. So you must define the person you wish to be, shift into the state of the wish fulfilled, right? Go to the end, know what you want, and then go to the end state and basically have faith to that, which I also explain in other videos in more detail. And then it can be expressed through you. So this is what I ask everyone to observe. Observe what you're actually doing on the inside, for that is what God sees. And what you're doing on the inside, you are doing in little tiny speech movements, and they are crystallizing in the manifested world round about you. So, right, Neville reminds us and challenges us to observe what we're doing within yourself, right? So we have to become aware of those inner conversations and how we actually talk to us internally and how we actually internally talk to others. That's also the same, right? We also do internal conversations with other people, with friends and family members that just we can hear, that we just play basically internally. So observe that and realize that God sees it, and God being your awareness. Right, your awareness, your consciousness is aware of what you do within yourself, and therefore it reflects it in your world, right? So no one other sees it, no one other judges you. But again, if you have those negative inner conversations and you put yourself internally into negative internal states and you have negative assumptions, and because all of that plays within you, then you are aware of this, and because your life mirrors back to you what you are aware of, then you get more of this. and you remain with the same life conditions. So, right, that is why we have to change what we're doing within ourselves, because this is crystallizing itself in the manifested world around us. Okay? As long as there is no change in his inner talking, the personal history of the man remains the same. To attempt to change the world before we change our inner talking is to struggle against the very nature of things. Man can go round and round in the same circle of disappointments and misfortunes, not seeing them as caused by his own negative inner talking, but as caused by others. And that is this huge mistake that people do, where they blame the circumstances, the outside conditions, the other people and stuff like that for their life circumstances that are bad. But it's like one's inner talking, one's inner activity that people do. And if you basically want to change something on the outside, but it does not match your inner talking, right, then you struggle against the nature of things, because that's literally not possible. You can literally not, for example, want to become successful, but consistently have inner talking of, that's not possible, I don't know how to do this, I don't know if I'm going to make this, and what if people judge me and stuff like that. This is against the nature of things, right? And it will change over time. If you shift into a successful internal state, then you will have also naturally other inner conversations. It's all related together. And then Neville said, inner talking from premises of the wish of fulfilled desires is the way to consciously create circumstances. Our inner conversations are perpetually outpictured in all around us happenings. Therefore, what we desire to see and hear without, we must hear and see within. As within, so without. Right? It matters what you do within, where your inner man stands, where you are in imagination. That is what counts. Where you are within consciousness, in which state you abide. That is what counts. And Neville said it over and over again in all of his quotes that A, we have to be aware of it. B, we have to realize that our inner conversations are in resonance, and there's a law, a connection between the inner conversations and what we see outside. And B, they should match our goals, right? Because then it's we just run in cycles and nothing is really happening. So that is basically, the power of the inner conversations. And then Neville asks, to finish that, what is your aim? Does your inner talking match it? It must, if you would realize your aim. So with this video, I hope that I brought clarity to you around the topic of inner conversations. But now you know how you can see them, that they are an indication where you dwell within, and that B, they are creative, that they are really powerful, that you should definitely be aware of them, not flip them or forcefully fight against them, but trying to match them, trying to shift into a desired state so that they flow naturally from who it is that you want to be and what it is that you want to have. So that's it for this video, guys. If you have any questions about inner conversations, definitely, as always, leave them in the comments down below. Also, you can share your thoughts on that, your experiences with that, if this is helpful for you, and I speak to you in the next video. Bye, guys.